You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Team Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Game of Thrones After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Game of Thrones After Show.
Hey guys, what is happening? We are here for episode 7, A Man Without Honor. And guys, let me just say that Bing is for doing. I just had to say it. And we are doing the Game of Thrones after show. Guys, I'm joined as always by the lovely Kristen Snyder.
Hi guys, what's up?
Simone Boyce.
Yo!
Bethany Jaber.
Hello there.
And Marissa, Queen of the Booth.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm excited for another episode. Let's do it.
And as always, I am Dave Klein. And we are here to talk about some craziness going on this episode. And things are starting to happen. I think things are getting to a big boiling point here. I can't wait to see what's going to come, but let's talk about the Lannisters. Sansa is talking with the Hound to start us off. She's talking with the Hound, and he gives a little speech about how he really enjoys killing people. It's a lot of fun.
Sansa got her period.
Yeah, that's the most exciting part of the show / her life is now ruined.
How about, okay, we're on the
She's ready to have some babies.
How about all the guys out there watching this? Were you guys like grossed out by the period thing? Because I feel like guys are like terrified of anything that has to do with women's
You guys like
cycles.
blood until
I
you
was
would have to deal with it.
About to go there.
Oh.
They're like, yeah, death scenes, blood. Ooh, wait, no.
It's just blood out of an area that we don't want to see blood. That's all it is.
Maybe
I don't
if you
see blood
guys
there.
would bleed every month, you wouldn't like video games blood so much.
I
We
cut.
need to do that
Whoa,
study.
that's deep.
Hey, I might.
That's
That
fascinating.
is pretty deep, actually.
Hey, you don't know. I might get
Because we're
cut.
like
sometimes.
honestly though, like women from the time we're like 12, we're like we hate blood. No,
dealing with
no.
it, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, we always get in fights.
Now that
though.
we got
Hey,
that
you know,
covered.
we get into.
Talk about
Really
that more.
smart, though.
Hey,
Watchtower base. What do you think?
he said it's in our nature to love blood. That's what he said. I don't know. We get into fights though, so guys fight each other, so we bleed. I've got my nose broken
Do
before.
you
from
like
fights.
it?
I love it. I just made the levels go out of
Yeah.
off the roof because I love it
you
so
did.
much.
Out.
All of our podcast listeners love you now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Like I'm at an age now. It doesn't creep me out. Come on, I'm an adult.
Yeah.
We're adults here. It doesn't weird me out. So yeah, she is now going to have to. Potentially now, it's real. She's gonna have to bear Joffrey's children. Oh, hooray! Yes, looking forward to that. Right?
This is one of those scenes where I think it's really cool to have Shay as Sansa's
Right?
handmaiden, because like we wouldn't get to see this interaction because this is such a huge moment for Sansa. This is like terrifying turning point for her. So I think it's fun to have Shay in there. That's one of the non-book choices that I think is proven to be really interesting to watch.
I thought
agree
she
with
was
that.
I thought she was going to be like a spy for Tyrion, but I mean, she came to Sansa's defense and she was ready to kill that other servant if she dared tell Cersei. So I don't know. I really like her being there, and it's too bad. I mean, last week you guys said the Hound was really on, Sansa's side, but this week he ran and told Cersei, it looks like. So he didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I think he's kind of just in the place of protecting people. I think as once Sansa's in danger, then he feels the need to protect her. But as far as those trivial things like a woman's time of the month are concerned, he doesn't really care that much. I mean, again, that was kind of different from the books, where in the books it was the handmaidens who ran and told everybody, because Shay was not a handmaiden for Sansa in the books. But like you were saying, Simone, I think, gives Shay a little more character. And it's kind of nice seeing these characters combined in these ways, because there are so many characters in Game of Thrones. It's a good way for them to bring them in and give them more personality.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I'm here for the characters and not always the plot points. So it's to see them interact in new ways is always exciting.
I didn't expect Shay to be so sympathetic to Sansa,
I
but
agree.
so that was
Well, after what Joffrey did to those two prostitutes, I mean, how can you not be?
It's true.
Like, oh God, is that what's going to happen to you?
yeah,
I mean, he's horrible.
yeah, it's true.
And really-
Yeah, that's what she has coming.
I really love all the advice, though, that Cersei actually sat down and talked to Sansa about, like saying, or Sansa was like, "Do I have to love Joffrey?" And she's like, "You can try."
I just point out this was a huge episode for Cersei overall. She really opened up, and there were some of these scenes were from earlier in the book, some of them at this point in the books, but they kind of all combined it for this moment. This was sort of a lot of Cersei's episode where you see she does realize what Joffrey is. She does realize he's kind of turned into a monster. And a lot of what she's talking about with Sansa too, and what you were saying is she kind of, you get that, her talking about how she understands what Sansa's going through because she knows that Sansa doesn't want to marry Joffrey. Who would? It's a little monster, but she's trying to be like, look, as you said, you can try to love him, but at the end of the day, you're going to have children, and that's who you're going to love. But you kind of really see her human side.
Is this like the Mother's Day episode?
It is.
Is that what?
And her Frankenstein child.
yeah, that's
That's really
true.
the monster she's created.
Yeah.
I love how how Cersei says, "Only love your children," because I think that really just sums Cersei up. Like, you know, just reading the books and watching the show, you kind of try and figure out, what is this woman about? Who does she love? Does she have feelings? Is she a robot? But I think that really sums it up. She only loves her children.
And it kills me, though, for somebody who is so clear and articulate and really sees what everybody wants and what she wants, she still makes terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
it's true.
continues to make really bad decisions. I
Well,
mean,
she does also love Jamie, though, although she refuses to admit it, at least at
Yeah.
this point. It's just like because a lot of her decisions are driven through, we need to get Jamie back. What can we do to get Jamie back? Jamie. So she still does have that
Do
to
you
her.
guys
Yeah.
agree with her, though, that the more people you love, the weaker you are?
Well,
ooh, that's
I think the
excellent-
more
that's an
people you
excellent
love,
question.
the stronger you are.
You do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dave's a
I'm a
lover.
very
I
happy
guess-
person. I'm
I
a
guess
loving
it's
person.
depends on where you live. I mean, if you're living in
Westeros.
it might be dangerous.
Well, I mean, it sounds like I really liked what she said after that. I didn't write it down, but she's like, the more people you love, the more things you'll be willing to do with it. Like, lay down, everything going on that would be better for you. You're willing to just, lay down for someone that you love. And I kind of think that she's right. I think that the more people you do love, the kind of weaker you are. And whether that weakness is seen as bad or not is something else.
Let me give you a historical reference
perception.
here right now. This is from
Dropping
Greek
the H-bomb.
times. Yes, the history lessons. The opposing side to the Spartans back during the Greek times. I'm forgetting the name of the actual city, but they were training their warriors. They were trying to get everybody. All the guys, they were kind of known for being a little gay for each other, and they did that on purpose so they would love each other, so they would fight that much harder to protect each other, and they would be that much stronger in battle, so they could protect each other and fight each other because they loved each other so much. So,
Interesting.
in a way, it was giving them strength to fight and strength for each other. So, not that I particularly agree with that method or don't, but I mean, it's what it is. So, that's just an example
It
from
gets
history.
even stranger. Like when they went to marry and take a wife, the women would have to shave their head bald like a boy.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know that
think-
part, so
yeah.
thank you for filling me in with that.
Sorry, it's meh.
So I guess you can see it both ways, as either a strength or a weakness, depending on the situation, maybe.
I think in Westeros, Cersei's right because, look at the way George R. R. Martin treats characters who actually love people, like Ned Stark and some others.
So what does this say about George R. R. Martin? Very depressing guy, apparently.
He lived in Hollywood for too long.
Yeah, right? I just think he wants to surprise people and
Yeah.
have a sort of shocking story every time you turn the page. But I think
You know-
Cersei's onto something.
I don't know. He says that nothing's worth writing about other than the conflict within your heart and the human condition. And it's really about what's going on inside everyone's mind. He says that, people have both good and evil inside them. And it's the conflict of your heart that he likes to write about in each of his characters. And I love it. That's where all the drama comes in. That's where all the blood comes in. You guys need to get off the chat roll.
No, someone just said
King of Canada just said Simone Bald.
I don't know what to make of that.
I had to comment on it.
Wow.
I really don't know what to make of that, King of Canada.
I had to point it out there. Okay, so let's move on then to the next topic, which is the Starks. So since we're talking about mothers, we've got Catelyn, a lot of Catelyn here, hanging out with Robb, and she never really has that in the books, and that's why I'm pointing that out. She's with Robb this whole time, and this whole scene's kind of set up where, as she's in, as we mentioned last week, what's never introduced this whole season, River Run. Instead of being a River Run, she's with Robb.
Right.
So they just kind of moved everything over there, but
Robb's not there.
right, but
He's off with Talisa.
But I'm saying with Cersei, I'm sorry, with Catelyn, they
okay.
moved Catelyn scenes to Robb's camp. But we've got her and Jaime, so a lot of her struggling with Jaime at this point.
And
Yeah.
Jaime Lannister, the actor, he actually said this was his favorite episode, which I guess because it's titled after him as well, Man Without Honor. But
Yeah.
I was expecting more.
More from Jamie?
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty
that was pretty-
dishonorable.
I felt like that spoke to a couple of the gents Theon, I felt, was definitely a man
that's
without
true.
honor as well.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I'm sorry if this is a digression, but why aren't we seeing more of River Run? Is
River
there,
Run's not in
it's
this
just it's just
season.
not in this season. Okay, that's why.
Yeah, they couldn't. I think at a point they had to start limiting the locations.
Okay.
So they may bring it into.
I guess water must be the most expensive thing of all.
It is pretty much the most
to work
expensive thing
with.
is all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though it'll be so awesome to see rivers killing people. I mean, I'd be happy to see that because I like blood, as I've said. So what we've got also in the camp, as we were talking about a bit, was last week, and that's back here, is Robb talking with Talisa. So this romance is kind of progressing, and she gives him an off-chance look as he walks away. A chance look of longing. After it looks like she's starting to like him a little bit.
Is that your look of longing?
FYI, ladies.
Wait, let me do it to the camera.
Okay, there you go.
In case you didn't
for
get it
you.
the first time.
Yeah, Talisa. I don't know what's going on with that name still. I haven't figured it out.
I'm still cranky about it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I feel like at this point, the writers are almost assuming that a lot of the audience has read the books. I don't know. I was kind of really upset with the way it was edited this episode. I felt like it jumped kind of crazily. Like, I didn't get time enough with each of the storylines in order to let it, like, set in and really care about what was going on. It was so jumpy in my mind.
Yeah.
I think you have an excellent point there, because I feel like we've gotten to relationships so quickly in this series, and people are having sex and meeting very quickly. This is kind of taking a while, and this is the third episode of exposition, I feel like, where they've met, and you're like, okay, come on already. What is, like, just get to the point.
Yeah.
Well, something that I noticed before, it seemed like they were kind of jumping ahead almost from the book if they're trying to go hand in hand with the book. It was almost like every 100 pages was a new episode of,
Right.
And then they kind of got ahead of themselves. And here they almost kind of caught up. So they kind of did a little bit less this episode for whatever reason in a lot of ends. So I guess it's going to be the full book now. I thought they were going to go past and break into the third book.
I think they will.
So I think
still.
that might be why almost they're trying to make it so it still all fits within the second book.
What did you guys think about this episode as far as the writing? Because there were a lot of dialogue scenes, which I love the dialogue and I love the character development, but I personally would like to see a little more action. I feel like this season has been a little bit slow, and this is just, I feel like we got ahead a little bit with the probably fourth, fifth, and sixth episodes, but now this almost feels like a step back. What do you guys
agree.
think?
Yeah, I would agree. It feels like a little bit of a step back
Yeah.
this episode. I mean, I do think we're getting a lot of payoffs, but it's still, I don't know.
I really feel like the payoffs don't feel as big because we're not spending enough time in that storyline. We get like one clip of it in the beginning, then we come back to it in the middle, and then in the end, it's the payoff. And I'm like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think was kind of also, I thought there would be getting a big payoff here in the Arya stuff, which I'm not going to say at all what happens, but it's just the whole Tywin storyline that they're tying in with is just really changing that up a lot more than I realized it would. But let's talk more about the Starks again and bring us back to the Starks with Jaime and strangling the guy, because that's a huge thing that happened that didn't happen in the books, that he strangled his own cousin, Alton Lannister, I believe is his name. And man, he's just like, it makes him look like a total dick.
Yeah.
I think they actually changed the person that was, maybe not, maybe it is Alton, but it seemed differently when they were talking about having dinner and he had to go back with his family. It seemed like he wasn't related to Lannister. I don't know.
Oh, he is related to.
Oh, it was Alton?
Because remember when, I don't know if it's Alton, but I know it is a Lannister.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's the scene where he was talking with Robb at the very beginning, and they were like, they mentioned that he was a Lannister in that scene. That's why they were keeping him prisoner.
And he was like, "Isn't your mom the fat one?"
I didn't.
Yeah. Was Jaime telling him the truth, though? I felt like that whole conversation just seemed like a little fake.
I think it was fake because leading up to the ending, which I gotta say, I don't like this choice to have Jaime become a kinslayer as well as a kingslayer, because
As well as a kin and screwer.
yeah, because I really
A lot of
like
kin and kings here.
I really like Jaime, and I think that he has a lot more depth to him than we've seen last season or this season. I think he is a lot more empathetic and human than we've seen so far. So I think this move to have him kill Alton was just unnecessary and painted him, I don't know, it portrayed him as a different Jaime Lannister than I know.
It's painting him into a corner, really.
Right.
Because, like, how can you redeem yourself once you've killed a king and kin?
That's true.
I mean, and you're having sex with your sister. I mean, there's...
Well, you know what?
I mean, people do some awful things, but he's kind of at the top of the list at this point.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to talk a lot more about why because this is what they did, at least in the books, was he talks a lot about why he kills the king. And he talks a little bit more about that, how crazy Aaron is, and also just the mad things he did to some of the Starks and how horrible he was. And that also kind of painted them, as you were saying, to be a little bit kinder of like, okay, I can see why you did that.
Yeah.
Whereas we didn't get any of that in this episode, which, I mean, I guess we didn't need it, but I kind of would have liked to have seen that as well with him, you know, his kinder side.
I mean, each of the characters has a huge reason for all their actions, and I mean, in their mind, it all makes sense, and maybe we'll get that explanation and maybe we won't, but I feel like every character thinks that their actions are just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he wants to escape, so that's just right.
What
He
else
wants
are
to
you
get out
gonna
of
do?
there, so he's Justin doing it.
He's chained to a pole in his own.
It's going to be interesting to see how much this choice is going to affect the Jaime Lannister as a character, because, like you said, it's kind of hard to recover from this. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be harder to establish some of the other elements of his character later on. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
I think one of the other things that made this episode difficult is we don't really care for because we don't have a relationship with is it Karstarks?
Yeah, Lord Karstark.
Yeah.
We just we haven't really developed anything, so that the whole loss of his son was kind of just lost on us.
Yeah,
because we
that's-
were like, oh, all right, you're
Yeah.
dead. Why is everybody so angry?
Is
People
this the
died.
first
I totally agree.
episode meeting the Karstarks? Because I mean, I'm sure we've seen
I
them
think
in
we've
passing.
seen them about
Yeah.
and kind of random like advising things, because I recognize that actor.
Yeah.
But this
Not
is the first
enough
time
for
really.
us to care.
Right. But
Yeah.
Lord Karstark is pissed regardless. He is so angry. But I mean, we don't really.
If it doesn't come across on screen, though, there's no point in it being there.
Yeah, that's
well,
true.
when you have so much death and we haven't built an attachment to a character, we're kind of like, okay, another person's dead.
Yeah,
That's
we
fine.
kind of become desensitized to
Yeah.
it with this show.
But you-
I don't know how healthy that is, but that's what the show's created. So
Probably not very.
it's their fault.
but you know who we do care about, who has some things going on, are Bran and Rickon, who are on the run.
Oh, yeah.
On the run from Theon, who is going insane. So Theon's on the chase, and he's almost more insane in this moment to me than he was in the books in this moment. As we
He's
already
like the
had
new
him.
Joffrey.
Right, because as we had with him killing Lord Rickard, that just like that moment where he's like, I think you're completely lost. We just see that here. He's just like, he has this insane look in his eyes. And it's just like, he's totally different now.
Yeah, definitely some changes from the book, just minor ones. In the end, he had their heads on a
spike.
As
Yeah.
opposed to, it looks like he charred the bodies.
Yeah.
I think it was tarred. I think he tarred them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that didn't come across believable to me.
What
Okay. I think that's really interesting.
the? Yeah.
That they are dead. It did not come across believable to me that Bran and Rickon are dead, because why didn't we get to see more of that? It was just like, okay, here's 2 burnt bodies, but I kind of feel like this whole thing has been a game to Theon, and I feel like that's just him pretending like he killed them. That's what it came across to me. I felt like he was just stringing up bodies of any 2 kids that he may have killed. I don't know. That's how it came across to me. I don't believe it. I don't
Yeah.
know that they're dead. I guess you guys do, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's not them. Theon's he just wants everybody to like him, and he just wants people to think that he did this so that, I don't know, they actually answer to him.
Right.
Theon's trying really hard. He's overcompensating. I feel like his whole life is just overcompensating.
Yeah.
And just trying so hard to be something that he's not.
Well, he even says to Maester Lewin, he's like, don't look so grim, it's all just a game. And I feel like to him, like, none of this is really real. I don't know. I feel like he's just playing.
I think it's more real than he wants to
Right.
let on. And I think the whole that game line is a cover, because I think Theon's really wounded
Yeah.
by his homecoming to Pike. And so I think he's trying to sort of mask a little bit.
And there's also, we don't necessarily see it so much, but I mean, you can just know. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Everybody in Winterfell hates him.
Right.
And that's everybody that he really grew up and loved, and they all hate him now. They despise him. So, I mean, I think that's also him trying to cover up, as you were saying, because he's just, nobody likes him, because that's what happens when you're a total dick.
Yeah,
That's what happens. That's what you get.
Who do you guys think is the biggest dick on this show? Joffrey, rank it in like 1, 2, 3.
order?
Joffrey, Jaime, or Theon?
At this point in the show.
Yeah,
Let's
at
go
this point. Yeah.
At this point, I would say Theon, because Joffrey was kind of raised to be a monster, and Theon was not. He was raised by the Starks, and for him to be this big of a dick is it's out of nowhere, really.
I'm going to agree with that.
I would say he's the number 1 asshole.
The number
think so,
one
too.
dick.
I mean, he's the one individual with like sincere love in his life. So yeah, I would say Theon wins for number 1 dick.
I would have to
Yeah.
agree. Everyone knows I can't stand the guy.
I would say Joffrey second, and
Do you,
then
though?
Jaime is not so bad in my opinion. I would like Jaime to be worse than he is, but
I wonder how much this is going to affect the actor who plays Theon as he continues his career.
He's going to be like the Joker.
I mean, I just, I remember seeing this interview with Halle Berry, and she said it took her so long to get work after Boomerang because of the scene with the toenails. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
I didn't
believe
know
it.
that.
I totally believe that.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's like, after that, everybody was just like, oh, you're the toenail girl. And I'm like, you did a huge movie with Eddie Murphy. Is that what people are saying?
Wow.
But like, I mean, if you're playing something as bad as Theon, I wonder how this will.
What about
shape
Joffrey?
him.
That's all he's known as is
Yeah,
just
that's
Joffrey.
true. Jaime Lannister is definitely. I mean, he just has that villainous look to him, so I think he is going to
Now that he has
continue
that
to play.
beardliness going on.
And
Yeah,
that broken nose,
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think-
that's-
right?
What is up with a broken nose?
Well,
It's almost.
well,
he's-
Catelyn did like hit him in the face with a brick or something in another
Probably
episode.
gotten hit a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost unrecognizable. But I guess he's supposed to be with the beard and the broken nose and the
Yeah.
sitting in his own poo.
That whole thing.
I just said it. Yep.
He's unfit for constraint.
He's unfit, unlike some people. Some people are just meant for it.
What do you think he meant by that, Ned being fit to be constrained? Because
I think he just meant because Ned's such an honorable guy, he would never try to escape. I think that might be what he meant, because Ned's just an easy prisoner because he would feel like I'm prisoner, so I have to do what I'm supposed to do. I think that is the
he's used to obeying what his
Right.
fate or whatever.
That'd be what I imagine it to mean.
I think it's also just a dig to get to Catelyn Stark.
Yeah, there's that pretty heavy dig there too with the bastard son with Jon.
Yeah,
that was a pretty heavy dig.
Brienne.
And that's another moment that they kind of built up for next episode where she pulls out the sword and you're like, what's she gonna do? She has a sword out. What is she going to do with this sword?
Yeah.
So they also built that up. So right now we've got in question the whole Theon thing, what's going on with Bran and Rickon, and then we've got also the sword. So those hopefully will both pay off next episode and we'll find out. Both of those storylines. Guys, before we move on, I do want to mention that we all do this completely for free because we love doing it, and we love you guys, and we love talking to you guys. But that said, we would love your support in any way possible, whether that be coming to the live chat, as you might have heard or seen. We do like talking to you guys, and we're trying to incorporate you more into the live chat, into the show. You can go to iTunes and comment or rate, and we love seeing that, and we love corresponding and reading all those things. Or you can go on YouTube, and you can comment and rate us, and then again, we love reading those and responding to your comments and questions. The final thing you can do, go to AfterBuzzTV.com, which is where the live chat is, for those who don't know. And there's an Amazon link on the top right. If you click on that link and buy whatever the hell you're going to buy from Amazon in the first place, no matter what it be, it's the exact same price. That will help support us. All you have to do is click on the link from our site first. That's it, and it helps support us. So whether it be Globies, whether it be the Jaime Lannister armor I usually don, I'm going to need to go buy some off of Amazon, clearly.
We got the Globies on the low.
Some Globies on the low. Or some Zaro special brand duck sauce. Yes. You can go buy all of that from Amazon through our links.
Oh my gosh.
That's what they said.
It's hilarious. The Woody man just said, "Oh, you guys love us. You must be weak." Thank you.
Oh, snap.
Thank you, Cersei.
I like it.
I already said that. I think it brings strength to love people. That was my point. So whatever.
You just can't show that you love people. You just have to love them.
And King of Canada says he's disappointed that we're not in costume. So are we planning on doing...
I figured like you have some Daenerys happening there a little bit.
Yeah, I've got like this
look at the wristband.
I got this off Amazon.
I'm pretty sure we're doing costume for the last episode. Is that right, guys?
I try to come in costume
Yeah.
every week.
Okay.
I'll try next week again too as well. Sorry, guys.
Give me an idea. I guess I have to go to Amazon, or you guys give me an idea. What should we wear?
Okay, so let's.
I just don't want to get pulled over dressed like this, okay? You know, or like you have to make a stop at the grocery store and you're like, what? I always look like a princess. I mean, but it'll happen. It'll happen. We'll bring it back.
I feel
Dave,
like I would
were
have
you going? Sorry.
I feel like I would have to act like a savage towards the cop if that happened, right? If I'm in costume, I feel like I have to be.
I'm on my way to the wall. Like, when are you gonna? You're like, what are you talking about?
There it is.
You're like, that's where I'm going.
I'm going to the wall, okay?
Winter's coming. I have to go.
But they're going to be the Lannisters and attack you anyways.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Sure that.
Were you going to say let's talk about Harrenhal? Because I
Yes.
think that's a great idea.
That is what I was going to talk to about. Thank you, Simone. Yeah, so let's talk about Harrenhal.
The Hall of Harren.
The Hall of Herons. And we've got Arya. So Arya and a lot of Tywins.
Is there an earthquake?
No.
I don't know. I'm probably pounding away at the desk. That did not come out right.
Breaking news.
So
No earthquake. Sorry.
Special report.
That was a little bit of the wall there, the wall stuff. Anyway, so Arya and Tywin are talking, and again, this is stuff that's different. I just have to say it, and it's fine. It's what it is. But this again is totally differentiating and deviating from the book. Everything with Tywin, but. It's cool to see his character and get to learn a little bit more about him. So I kind of like it because I like getting to learn about Tywin. So we have that Tywin is assuming that this assassination that Arya sent out was for him. That's the big thing. He wants to find out who did it, who's trying to kill him.
And they're blaming it on the Brotherhood Without Banners, which I feel like this is the first time they brought up the Brotherhood Without Banners.
There was a slight mention an episode or two ago. But I know a lot of book fans are really excited because the Brotherhood Without Banners is this super eccentric gang of people. So it'll be fun to see. And these mentions of it are kind of getting everyone excited that maybe we are going to get to see them. So
yeah, I mean, I guess there are a bunch of outlaws that are squires or whatever else. And actually...
assassins. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
On the Westeros website, the forums, they actually have a Brotherhood Without Banners where you go there and post like happenings that have to do with Game of Thrones. And I actually have a post there about AfterBuzz. So head over to westrios.org and you can see our post about AfterBuzz in Brotherhoods Without Banners.
In the Brotherhood.
And you can meet fans there. And actually, George R.R. Martin also said if you want to hang out with him, a lot of the events and conventions that are posted there, he goes to, and that's a good time to hang out with him.
The name of his official like fan group is the Brotherhood
Right.
Without Banners. But speaking of Tywin and Arya, I really like this change a lot. I think I was a little wary at first, but I think it's really cool. And it's just so weird because like they're humanizing Tywin and dehumanizing Jaime, which is like the opposite of how I felt it was in the books. But I don't know, maybe that'll be answered later.
Maybe let's even twist it more when things start changing and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? That's probably why.
Yeah.
Or, because especially for someone like Tywin, you want to humanize anyone who seems like a villain. So, you're going to somewhat care for them because here he's coming off as he's a father. He doesn't really seem to really want to fight in wars, and he's worried about what is his legacy going to be. That's what he's really concerned about. What are people going to remember him for? And
But at that point, Arya contemplates killing him. We get a close-up of the knife,
it's true.
of the knife and a close-up of his neck.
Yeah, that was...
As he's
that's what
talking
I was-
about his
yeah,
legacy.
he's like, haha, she could do it.
I was
And-
thinking she was going to do the signature Game of Thrones move that we've seen where they, I feel like every single, kill scene is with, a sword right down, the spine.
Oh, see, I thought she was going to do the jack-off kill that we saw last week.
OSHA's
kill last week. I thought she was going to do that one.
You heard it first on AfterBuzz.
That's
AfterBuzz TV
that's an
exclusive.
authentic assassination technique for those who don't know.
I think that's
It's super authentic.
That was our ducks off, jack off kill.
She's a little young for that.
Globies.
Yeah, she probably is.
You know what I liked in this scene was that we got a history of Harrenhal, which was pretty cool to hear. So we got to hear about how it was supposed to be this, and this isn't the whole legacy, but it was supposed to be this legacy is going to be the most grand castle. Nobody would be able to penetrate it.
Not even dragons.
But dragons screwed that over.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah, so...
Okay, did you guys notice how much talk there was in this episode about the Targaryens? Like Cersei and Tyrion talked about the Targaryens, and so did Tywin here. And I feel like that's foreshadowing the coming of Daenerys.
Yeah.
I like that.
Could be.
I would love for that to
And
happen.
they hadn't really talked about it. Any of the other characters really mentioned the Targaryens until this episode, and now it seems like everyone's talking about it. And Arya actually, is that what you were going to say?
No.
Arya
Go ahead.
actually looks up to the Targaryen legend. So it seems like Daenerys does have some fans in Westeros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she
has
seems to look
right?
up to the whole idea of females fighting, though. That's what she really pulls out there, and there were sisters riding dragons. So definitely any strong female fighter is what she looks up to. So Brienne's going to be like, whoa, what? Yeah, Brienne.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be a huge role model.
We also get to hear the new mountain speak for the first time.
What did you guys think? He didn't come off as very intimidating to me.
No.
It sounded like he was trying so hard to be intimidating, but wasn't. Did it sound like he was really making his voice very deep? And I don't know.
I
It
agree.
felt kind of feigned to me.
Let me be honest here.
To be honest, yeah, it was lost on me.
Yeah.
It didn't.
I want to be 100% honest with you guys. I turned to Simone and Kristen right after he left the scene. I was like, was that the mountain? Because he just did not strike that same
Right.
type of fear or
Yeah.
the mountain from before is just like, you do not want to mess with this guy. That is all he struck is like, this guy is going to kill your face.
Yeah.
And the new mountain, with that technique.
Why did we have a new mountain?
And this new one, I just didn't get.
Scheduling issues. The old mountain, Conan Stevens, is actually working on The Hobbit, or he was at least. So there was a scheduling conflict there. So I mean, I feel bad for the casting department in that way, because that's got to be kind of hard to try and transition in a new character or a new actor.
And I
for
guess
the
you
same
just
role.
ignore it.
Yeah.
You're like, nothing happened, no change here, don't look.
Yeah.
I don't
Nothing
know if
going on here.
I really don't know if a lot of people noticed,
Yeah, maybe not.
because unless
Yeah, because he was so brief in the first
Right,
season, but
yeah.
it still was like something where I kind of looked, I was like, was that the mountain? But since we're talking about dragons, Unless you want to mention something.
I think that's like more than we've ever heard out of the first mountain. The first mountain like grunted twice, and I think that was it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But
It was kind of
also, we
lost
didn't get
on
any
me.
Jaqen in this episode, and I love Jaqen. So.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought we'd get to see him a bit.
Yeah.
But
Soon.
he'll come.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the
Hopefully.
dragons and Arya's role model and who's coming. Daenerys, who has lost her dragons to Zaro Duck Sauce.
I knew it was him.
Yeah, so wow, this is so different. What?
Yeah.
So now Zaro Duck Sauce wants to be King Duck Sauce. I definitely stole that from one of the live
getting
chat
hungry.
guys.
I am. I'm just hungry in general.
Some
Yeah.
like mushu pork with duck sauce or something.
Are you guys serious right now?
Yeah,
I really
I'm
am
actually getting
hungry. I
hungry.
am too.
All this talk about duck sauce.
I know.
I had a very brief dinner. I'm kind of hungry too. But let's talk about King Duck
High
Sauce.
slaughters the other 12.
Yes.
Wow,
This
what?
is crazy.
That was madness.
This is madness.
and
Yeah.
then the other guy disappears.
And
What?
And Dany is actually really frightened and runs away, but they want her to be the mother of her dragons. I'm kind of confused about what their plan was and what happened here. It happened really fast.
This is really weird to me for just specifically the way the show's been handling this, because at first Zaro Duck Sauce comes off as like, I don't want the dragons, I don't care that much, I don't want to rule anybody or anything. And he's like, guess what? I want to be King Duck Sauce and I just killed all the other 12. What? In your face. And go find your dragons that I stole from you. Like, why didn't he just like, did he really have to do all that? Why did he have to go through all that trouble? What?
Yeah, we still don't even. I think.
I mean, I'm still excited to see the Tower of Undying. I'm still excited to see that, but this is what?
Yeah, I think right now it seems a little convoluted and unnecessary, but maybe it'll become clearer later. I don't know, but I do think the Qarth coup with Pyat Pri slaying everybody was really cool, and like that was just really creative.
I mean, it was definitely cool
Yeah.
with them all like unmasking and being "Gah!"
Yeah.
But I was still just like, whoa, what? This is crazy.
And-
This is madness.
And couldn't this have implications on Daenerys if she's traveling around? If she's traveling around the east and heading to these different cities, if people hear what happened in Qarth, they could associate that with her. And
Absolutely.
So it's going to be weird to see how people treat her now that they know what happened in Qarth.
It's like a coup,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's full out. I was a little bit disappointed with Jorah Mormont. Is it Mormont?
It's Mormont.
Mormont. This episode, I felt like he was very stagey. Did you
Yeah,
you
I
get
did
that at
too.
all? Like,
I saw that
I'm
too.
back.
Maybe it's just all
And I'm
the.
like, what's?
But
what-
where-
It seems
what?
to all be coming from the Daenerys side. Daenerys is acting, and now Jorah. Like,
I know.
I was. I don't know. I just didn't buy. I'm back. I heard. I was looking for a ship.
And
Was
then
he
you-
though? Was he? Because apparently he's betrayed her.
Yeah,
Well,
that
yeah.
was
Yes.
whoa.
Oh, you didn't. Wait. What? No, you don't remember this?
There's
He
no.
betrayed her last season.
When did he betray her last season?
He told Varys, he ratted her out to Varys that like, oh, the dragon princess is alive and all
Was
this
he
stuff.
the one
and-
who ratted her
He
out?
was
Yeah.
the spy.
Oh.
He was the spy that was traveling with her. That was letting
do
the
not-
Lannisters know what she was up to, and then eventually, like halfway through the journey, when somebody tries to poison her with wine, he realizes that he really does love her and that he's no longer Varys' spy.
That did not come across in the show whatsoever. I've
Yeah.
been paying attention to his character very well because I really like him, and I didn't know that he was the spy that betrayed her. They did not make that obvious. Fail, writers.
Harsh words.
I'm just kidding.
I know. I know, it's so funny. You're like, fail. No, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're still the best show on television, but I
Can I
didn't
still-
get that at all.
Can I still point something else out with Jorah's and Daenerys here, which is kind of weird to me, is that Dany, I'm calling her Dany now like that, but Dany is so... Dany is so upset with Jorah this whole episode, and it's just like, what, she's giving him such a hard time. And like, come on, like it doesn't... I feel like this was undeserved, this hard time that she's giving him.
I think that she just doesn't trust anyone, and I think it's hard for her to trust anyone. I think she's just generally frustrated with her situation and feeling like she doesn't have anyone.
But it's
to
like,
turn
has he
to.
not done enough for her already to warrant her trust at this point, regardless of that whole thing, which I don't think she even knows, but...
Maybe she's getting her moon's blood. I don't know.
But like, I think if your brother, who is, I mean, your closest kin, is willing to sell you, that it makes it impossible to trust anyone. Right. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Someone just wrote on the chat. Someone said last week that Daenerys overacted and was becoming like her brother. Do you guys still think that?
That was something that I talked about last week, how I felt like Daenerys was acting like her older brother because she was complaining so much and whining so much. She sounded so much like him. It really made me dislike her character a lot. And she's like that to a degree in the book, but it didn't feel like as much so.
Yeah.
Is she, because like in the show she's like, I want it, it's mine, and that's how she came across at least last week. So
with the Spice King and stuff.
I feel like you guys are getting that in the book, but I don't see that from her at all.
Overacting?
No, not overacting, but that she like wants the throne and she feels like she deserves
really?
it. I don't feel like she's whining. I mean, I know that she wants the throne, but I don't feel like she's whining at all. She calls her brother a fool. She admits that like he was a fool and everything he did was wrong and she couldn't trust him and he would have her raped a million times for the crown.
Well, this episode she says that, but I'm talking about last episode. Last week when she was just in front of 13 and she's like, I deserve it. It's mine.
I just don't see her being whiny.
A great musical.
It's mine.
I just don't see her being whiny. That's all. I just don't see her whiny.
The last couple of episodes, I felt a little whiny, but then this episode, now that all her people are dead, I feel bad for her again.
Well,
so
right.
I'm like, okay, you deserve the crown.
Yeah.
No, at this point, I feel more. This episode made me feel more sympathetic for her. So maybe it was a good thing that all the 13 got slaughtered and all her people got slaughtered, which they didn't in the book. Because I'm like, oh wait, I feel bad for her again, as you said.
She wasn't like screaming as much. Also, this episode, she was kind of like deflated, which was refreshing because I do think she's been overacting. I love Emilia Clarke, but I think she's been overacting a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I don't. By the way, King O Canada said that he was mad that I called him someone. So King O Canada, I don't think she overacted this episode.
That's right.
Not this episode.
Give shout out to names. I really think that Jorah gave the homily of the episode this week. He said that no one can survive in this world without help. No one. And I think that's really true because a lot of people don't want to take help. And Daenerys is that person in this episode. She's like, no, I'm going to do it myself now. I don't want help from anyone. But really, you have to come to terms with the fact that you can't do things alone in this world. And if you are willing to accept help, you'll survive better than you would. Yeah. And you're not going to get anywhere in this world without help.
There's actually a lot of tie-ins for this episode. You also see Theon, who's going insane because he's not getting help from anybody. He's kind of that sort of asking Maester Luwin for advice, but not really, and not trusting anything anybody says. So you see him going insane. I mean, Cersei's talking about how her whole love speech, it almost kind of ties in with that too, that you can't love anybody. It's very similar, a similar idea.
I agree.
So I feel like a lot of that actually shown through in this episode.
So accept help.
Yes. When you see a help wanted sign, it's okay.
Apply within.
But I just want to say again, I am so excited to see Pyat Pri and the whole tower. I want to see what they do with that because it's going to be awesome. But let's move on now to the Wall and Jon Snow. And another thing that they are really changing up here from the books. It's just, I guess I can just say, because I don't think it'll ruin anything to say. And guys, I just want to throw this out there. We really try not to put any spoilers out there. And yes, clutch for help, because this is not going to be a spoiler. It's just if something's big and different from the book like this, is worth pointing out. And none of this happens. None of this. It's so different. Like, none of this at all happens. And I'm wondering how they're going to tie it in. I'm sorry. Let me calm down a bit and stop talking about it.
No, I agree. It is, I mean, this whole goose chase with Ygritte is definitely different.
And it'll be... I do want to see where they're going to take it and how they're going to tie it in. It's just very, very different. So it's worth mentioning and pointing out.
Does Ygritte not look like a young Caitlyn?
Yeah,
she kind of does.
Doesn't she? I mean, I'm like, what? Wait a second. You look exactly like...
Funny you say that because she even says to Jon Snow, my ancestors lived here, same as yours, so why are we fighting? And I feel like she's actually making Jon question his oath to the wall.
Yeah.
Totally. I love their first encounter this episode because she leads him with the rope at the end of that conversation. And it's like, oh, wait, who's leading who here? And,
I like that.
Yeah, and she turns around and she pulls it and he kind of follows her.
The one thing I do want to say is I feel like Jon had a good point to Ygritte, which is like, she's like, why are you fighting with us? What are you doing? And she's like, because you come and kill us and steal our stuff and come murder us. That's why we're kind of fighting you. And then she's like, you don't have a reason to fight us. And I was like, he should have just been like, I just gave you a good reason right there. It's because you've been invading our lands and killing us.
I almost wanted to turn it into a nuh-uh, yeah, no, sir.
By the way,
I can do what you can do better than you.
is that Longclaw, or are you just happy to see me? I love their witty, like, sexual back and forth they have.
And she says, I could teach you how to do it. And he says, I know how to do it. And she says, you know nothing, Jon Snow.
I know, that's
her catchphrase.
You know
her
nothing.
Mantra.
Yeah, her mantra.
Everybody has like a line that sums their character up or sums their house up. And that's hers. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
If Ygritte had a sigil, that would be the words of her house.
I like it.
And I guess we do see also with Ygritte, this is Jon's sort of weak point, is women. He doesn't really know what to say and what to do. And I was also a little surprised since they're doing this whole thing that he didn't throw out anything about the whole bastard issue, because that's why he's refused to sleep with a girl in the past, which is, I think, a really noble reason.
Upstanding.
Very upstanding reason not to, but he never mentions anything, which I guess, why does she deserve to know? You could say that, but I'm like, you have a really good reason. But
probably is playing things close to the vest right now.
So what then we get is that she kind of leads him to all the wildlings.
I kind of saw that
wildling party.
coming.
Where the wildlings are.
I mean, she was in front.
R.I.P. that guy who wrote that book.
Oh.
I don't know his name.
Where the wildlings are.
Passed.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat roll, I'm sure knows.
Come on, guys.
He passed this
I'm
week.
gonna keep looking down now and hope someone throws it out there. But
So
yeah,
now he's surrounded. What's gonna happen here?
Who knows?
yeah. At this point, I just don't even
us.
know.
We don't know.
We have no
Don't
idea.
look to the book readers.
Because, yeah, I mean, I feel like she was talking about how they nominated Mance Rayder and he wanted to be free. And I feel like by the end of this whole thing, Jon's gonna want to be free. I don't see him keeping his oath by the wall, just because, like, who would want their life to be that? It's kind of, I don't know, it's respectful, but at the same time, I definitely see him in a cabin in the woods with me.
Whoa.
Boom.
Well,
Done.
because with a cute face like that,
Yeah.
what girls would every girl would kill for a cute face like that, as Ygritte points out.
Yes.
And all the ladies in this room, I'm here too, guys. Come on.
I just hope that Viggo Mortensen gets cast as Mance Rayder.
What? That would be amazing. But
Right?
he's
We'll just
that's
leave it
how
at that.
I feel about that.
All right.
So wait, so I want to point out before we move on to a commercial break that one of the fans had asked us to talk a little bit about the dream that Sansa had, and it's just she's just been having nightmares about.
Yes.
She's just sort of having nightmares
sorry.
about the whole rape thing, which I kind of
Who
you
said
understand that?
Who? Somebody in the
I
chat roll?
think it was King of Canada asked about that, but I
Okay.
could be wrong.
Oh, King of Canada, you've done it
I
again.
could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but
I feel like that's a
valid thing to discuss.
yeah, no, but also like a common dream for like I can't say like I don't know. Have you ever like woken up with a headache but dreamed like somebody was like banging something near your
Yes.
head? Like
Yeah.
it's not. I don't know. I
So
wouldn't say
in
it's
her
that
dream, she
uncommon.
was bleeding, and then
Yeah.
she woke up and there
Yeah.
was really. But can you imagine? Because if you have a dream that you're bleeding and you wake up and there's blood there,
That's
That
how
was-
I got my
that's kind of
opinion.
like-
Really?
Yeah, I
That
dreamt
was
about it.
a lot. That was a lot more grotesque the way they wrote it on the books. Was they were pretty graphic with that
We're
stuff.
like, whoa, that's deep.
Whoa.
They like burn. She tries to like burn the mattress in the book. By the way, the guy who wrote Where the Wild Things Are is Maurice Sendak.
Somebody gave us that?
Thank
yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not to be off.
Who said that? We need to give them a shout out. Their name.
Okay. You guys keep going.
I believe it was
I'll work on
Tom
it.
Brooks, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I do want to throw out my dream that was like that. When I was a kid, I'll always remember this. I had a
Whoa,
dream that I
whoa.
was on a water slide and I fell off the side of the water slide. I was falling and falling, and then I woke up and I was laying on the ground next to my bed. So
Whoa,
So
that's
you really
weird.
fell.
great. Yeah, I really
did, you
rolled
really
off the
did.
side of my bed.
Wow.
Were you pushed by Jamie?
Oh my God, I was. That has to be it, and I'm a cripple now. So
No,
thanks for
no.
pointing that out.
Yikes.
All right, guys, I want to throw out one thing. We've had some complaints about the commercials, and Kristen said last week, you know what? Maybe we'll change it up, keep it fresh. And guess what? We changed
did.
it up. We're
We
keeping
did.
it fresh just for you guys. So let's take a commercial break, and then
Enjoy.
Kristen's got a special report for us.
Hit it.
Hey everybody, John Comerford here. I've got my Mad Men with me.
Kevin Undergaro.
Phil Svitek.
For all you fans of Mad Men, we're your AfterBuzz TV hosts of Mad Men. Every Sunday, right after the show, 9:30, we're breaking down the episode.
You can also check us out on iTunes and YouTube the following morning.
We're going to get into the imagery, the symbolism, the structure. We give you all the information on Mad Men that the other podcasts out there don't.
Very insightful. You're going to love it. Check us out. Please.
Hello, everybody. We are the LA Complex crew, and we are here with Andre Fuller from the LA Complex, who plays Caldric King. And you can catch LA Complex every Tuesday night on the CW at 9 o'clock. After that, come to our AfterBuzz TV show where we do a recap of the LA Complex. We talk about Raquel, we talk about sex tapes, we talk about, relationships. And you can catch us live at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, AfterBuzzTV.com. If you can't catch us live, go ahead and swing over to YouTube the next day. You can rate, you can comment, watch us. iTunes, same thing. Download, rate, comment. And we would love to hear your feedback. And we love to support, guys. So please, please, please support us and support the LA Complex. Buzz you later.
Guys, this is the AfterBuzz TV crew for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Woo! Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. to see
Adrienne Barrow,
Deanna Vaughn,
Susan Hahn,
Giselle Ugardi.
Buzz you later!
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
I want to buzz about the way I'm dancing to that awesome little music right there.
Oh.
But mainly about this special report from Kristen.
Yes. So we've been talking about how George wrote a lot of strong female characters, and he was asked what his intent was of providing such female characters of strength in a genre that typically reduces women to witches, wives, or whores. And his response was that he has his fair share of witches, wives, and whores as well, but he tries to make them fully fleshed out humans. And he said, but what it really comes down to is, it's strange to say, but women are people too.
What?
And he tries to just write them like guys. He says that they're driven by the same desires as men. Women are driven by respect, power, desire to protect their children, greed for money, for acclaim. And he says it's just common humanity, and everybody wants to be loved. And so he just writes them like his male characters as well. But he does take into account that this is a patriarchal society. And so some of the women are limited to the certain roles, and some of them fit comfortably in their roles. But then some of them do not fit comfortably in their roles, and therefore they encounter a certain amount of rejection or tension or ridicule as they try to pursue their dreams. Like Arya is a good example. Cersei as well. And they sort of frustrate their dreams, and all this is conflict and it's character tension. And this is what story is all about, the human heart in conflict with itself.
Now, can I ask you guys, I'm kind of curious as a guy reading the book, and I'm going to admit I like to write on my own, and I try to write, but I'm terrible at writing female characters. I'm really bad at it. It's really hard for me. So as a guy, I feel like it's hard to find that perspective. Do you guys feel like George R.R. Martin's been doing a good job with it? Like, what do you think?
The female characters on the show are some of my favorites, probably. And I think it's rare, and it's rare in Hollywood to find strong female roles. So I always celebrate
strong female roles, and he also has a lack of ageism. There's a wide array of different ages in this, which is really nice, because sometimes it's just young 20s, and you're like, all right, well, there are other people in the world.
You know what I'll say? It's probably because there's so many characters. He has so many chances to hit one female that works for you. So that's why you just have a lot of characters to play with.
He actually said that Bran is the hardest character to write because of his age. He doesn't know exactly what words he would know at the age of 12.
That's true.
And also the fact that he's a crippled now, he actually tries to talk to some of his fans have written him that were crippled and sort of told him, what they feel daily and kind of what their life is like. So that helps him write.
I would be fascinated to know which character he connects the most with, which voice is the easiest for him.
He said Tyrion.
I think.
Really?
That's what he said. Because he says that he's that witty, except for he comes up with those things like a week later he goes back and rewrites the line. And he's like, I can't do it as fast as Tyrion does. But he comes up with those things like a week later. He's like, that's what I should have said then.
That was
Isn't that the worst moment that you
Yes.
have is when something happens and you like 10 minutes later, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're just like, I wish I said that.
I've never experienced it.
That's why I want to take improv. I think it'd be really helpful.
Oh, you should. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay.
Who do you guys think is the strongest female character? That's a question that's running in the thread right now. We can do it quickly.
I'm gonna have to go with Arya.
Agree.
And even at this point, in every point, both in the books and the show, she's going through so much, and she always stays strong. And in the book, she's kind of contemplating, am I a worm? What am I right now? She's having a lot of internal conflict we don't get to necessarily see in the show, but she still always seems to really stay strong. So I'm going to have to go with her.
I'm going to say Daenerys because everybody is pushing her and pulling her in a different direction, and she goes with what she thinks is best. It's not always what is right, but, you know, she's not easily swayed.
I agree with both those because they're not listening to what everybody else says they should be doing. Yeah. Just like George R.R. Martin was pointing out, they are pursuing their dreams and just taking on the conflict that they get because of what they want to pursue, and they're being their own person. So I see both of them being very strong.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to take a second to thank our iTunes listeners
Yes,
and
guys,
YouTube
thank you.
viewers. From iTunes, I have Bora D, Andrew Figurelli, Momo155, Sis1620 as 83465. And then YouTube viewers, 797 Productions, Small McLittle Tiny, Slade4321, RM Gatch, Vampy Rescientist 1.
I think it's Vampire Scientist.
Okay, I see it now. I'm trying to read a long list. All these letters, they're all combined. They don't make sense.
We have AfterBuzz reading class.
Republic? Yes. Re6612, Woofin443, Squamish4244. And to Elite Portugal, yes, I think all of the Khalasar were killed who weren't already with Daenerys. And as far as Rob goes, I agree. It seems like he's asking for trouble.
So Pay76 wrote into iTunes saying, I think the scene y'all should act out is the mob scene. The girls can just throw cow pies at Dave. No, let's not do that scene because I don't want crap being thrown at. Thanks, guys. Really, really cool. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that.
You asked for it, you get it.
I asked you guys not to do it, and thank you.
No, so
No,
you guys asked for a scene. We deliver here at AfterBuzz.
Yep. And we might even dance for you a little bit.
We will.
All the time.
Minus an arm.
Yeah, so, and then... Whatever, guys. All right, so then let's jump on the predictions.
All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz
That was really
TV.
fun. Can we do that all the time?
Yes. I want to act out a scene every week, or we need more songs from Sean Nessel.
Yeah, I love that song.
Oh, yeah, that song was awesome.
That was beautiful.
Ooh, Shadow Baby.
Ooh,
Shadow Baby. Ooh, Shadow Baby.
Should we do predictions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, shall we?
So we see that Theon is going to be running into a little more trouble with what's going on. Things are going to be tensions mounting because Rob's not happy for some reason. I can't imagine why. Why would Rob not be happy?
I really hope that they didn't just kill Rickon and Bran. It seems like that's what happened because they are apparently right there on the screen burned, but it just didn't come across to me that that was them. And if so, and their characters are over, I'm really disappointed.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more, and that's why it's so unbelievable to me because it wasn't shown well on screen.
As we all know, Kristen loves seeing people get murdered and sliced up. This is something we've learned.
If you're gonna
which I don't
kill
disagree with.
a
I'm going to say
main
I don't
character,
disagree with that.
If you're gonna kill Bran, who is now the king of Winterfell or whatever, and Rickon, I think that's really important to show on screen. Or some struggle. If that really happened and you didn't show me, I'm gonna be mad, HBO. I'm just gonna be mad.
You make an excellent point. You do, but it also counters that one of the great things we love about R.R. Martin is that he's willing to make his characters perishable. So there's a struggle there. I get it.
I'm okay with them being dead. Don't get me wrong.
Whoa, harsh words.
Kill more characters, however, make me care about it.
Yeah.
Like I just don't believe that that's them. Yeah, it's two little boys. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so moving on then, we've also got the whole Joffrey. Joffrey's like, let's do some war. I'm ready to get bloody. He's all excited for it, as we assume.
I'm excited because we've been given a timeline as far as Stannis' arrival in King's Landing. 5 days. 5 days?
Yeah.
5 days.
We were given that.
So, could mean something really freaking awesome. I'm just saying.
Or it could not, but
well, it depends on what side you're on.
Or it just depends.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Yes,
and it
we
looks
shall.
like Shay needs to be more careful.
Yeah.
Oh, Shay.
All right.
Muffin.
All right, guys. I saw what you're talking
Muffin.
about. Okay, guys. So, someone said they like Simone's mouth. I'll just throw it out there. What a mouth. Okay, guys. So, I am Dave Klein once again, and you can find me on Twitter at the Dave Klein. That's Klein, unless you find me really annoying, as one of the guys on the chat did. Or let me move on to
haters.
Oh, you can find me at Cinematic Escape. I'm Kristen Elizabeth Snyder, and I will be posting my exclusive reports there. They're not there yet, but check out my blog, Cinematic Escape, and I'm also Cinematic Escape on Twitter.
I'm Simone Boyce, and you can find me at Simone Boyce on Twitter. And I also do my own weekly Game of Thrones recaps on youtube.com/Simone D. Boyce.
Woohoo! I'm Bethany Jaber, and you can check me out at literarygirls.tumblr.com or check out another podcast, Literary Girls Gone Wild, on iTunes.
And Marissa!
Hey, I'm Marissa Movies. That's Marisa Movies on Twitter.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See you guys next week.
Later.
AfterBuzz.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.